My name is Heather Rodriguez. I'm a natural fertility specialist. My team and I at the Natural Fertility Company help couples who are preparing for pregnancy, preparing for conception, and overcoming fertility issues. You can find my website at naturalfertilityinfo.com. And today I have a special guest, the puppy with no name. Still the puppy with no name. But we're going to talk about one of the most important things for hormonal balance that we have never covered, that you probably have not thought about before, and you don't really know how important it is. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about sleep. Have you guys ever thought about sleep and its impact on fertility? I bet you haven't, right? But it's actually very surprising how important sleep is for your hormonal balance. And the reason is that when you're sleeping, one of the key hormones that stimulates ovulation, the hormone leptin, is actually created while you are sleeping. It's actually produced while you're sleeping. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not producing enough of this hormone. And leptin is currently being studied as a possible future fertility medication, a future drug for treatment for stimulating ovulation. Something that you've never thought about, right? But it makes a whole lot of sense. So sleep is very important for hormonal balance and hormonal function. So all the key hormones that are going to be affected by sleep is going to be progesterone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and estrogen and progesterone. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not producing enough leptin, which is a big part of that process to stimulate ovulation. So there you go. I do have a couple tips on how to get better sleep because I know for a lot of people, it's actually a challenge. So I have my little list here. And another thing to think about if you're not able to get good sleep is you're not going to be able to fertility chart. You're not going to be able to know when you're ovulating by using that method. If you work the night shift, there actually was a study done that shows that those who were working on the night shift actually had more hormonal issues and troubles becoming pregnant because the cycle is so dependent on light as well. And proper sleep patterns. So if any of you are working the night shift, there's a certain amount of daylight you need to make sure to get on your skin and in your eyes so that you're getting the proper hormonal stimulation. So something to look into. There are things that you can do. I know some people, that's what they have to do is work the night shift. So a couple tips for getting better sleep so that you're getting enough sleep. A lot of people get 6 hours sleep or too little. There isn't a specific number that's going to be right for you. Each person's different. I think Oprah even said at one point she gets for the last forever, she only sleeps 4 hours a night. That's pretty rare. There probably are certain types that can sleep that short amount of time, but for me, I actually have to sleep 9 hours, which sometimes actually pretty inconvenient because there's a lot of things I want to do. So anyways, there's some tips for you. So the first one's going to be to create a sleep routine, and I actually found this very helpful for myself, and what that is you preparing for bed by doing the same thing every single night. So for my son, who's almost 2, we have a sleep routine of what we do because then he knows it's bedtime. But for myself, what I find is I do some special and nice things for myself before bed to prepare. I use essential oils. A lot of times I'll take a hot bath, and then you have your nighttime routine, and then I'll read a book or I'll do some reading. So there's a nighttime routine. So your body starts knowing, okay, bedtime is near. I'm going to start releasing sleep hormones, and we're going to have a good night's sleep. The other thing is to avoid, and this is kind of an obvious, but you never know if you haven't heard this one, is to avoid caffeine, nicotine, and stimulating herbs, as well as alcohol before bed. Personally, when I drink at night before bed, I get very energized. For some people, that's not the case. So that's something to think about. The next is going to be there's different things you can do. You can use herbs, you can use supplements such as magnesium can be very helpful for some people, especially if you have restless leg or you feel like you can't relax your body. Those are a couple different things. And the other thing, 2 things that I found super helpful is to make my room very dark. So having blackout curtains or whatever it is, and using a sound machine. We discovered this since having my son because he has a sound machine, and it seriously is knocks you out. It keeps you asleep. So a sound machine, you can get them on Amazon. Those are fantastic. And then the other is going to be to exercise daily. I find I sleep so much better when I'm exercising regularly. I think because you just end up being more tired. And to manage your stress levels. So that's the number one reason I lose sleep. I think a lot of you lose sleep as well when you're stressed out. So managing your stress, having something such as a cute puppy, to help to manage your stress is always helpful. So those are my quick tips. I just wanted to mention it. It's something that was on my mind recently because we've been talking a lot about hormonal balance, and I'm like, are you guys getting enough sleep? That's something you probably haven't thought about, how important that is for hormonal balance. So making that a priority in your life is always good.